ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من يأخذ عني هؤلاء الكلمات فيعمل بهن أو يعلمهن من يعمل بهن. قال أبو هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قلت أنا يا رسول الله، فأخذ بيدي فعد خمسا قال اتق المحارم تكن أعبد الناس، وارض بما قسم الله لك تكن أغنى الناس، وأحسن إلى جارك تكن مؤمنا، وأحب للناس ما تحب لنفسك تكن مسلما، ولا تكثر الضحك فإن كثرة الضحك تميت القلب. رواه الترمذी. मेरे मुहतरम दोस्तों, अजीज बुजुर्गों, my dear respected brothers, elders, mothers and sisters listening at home, the narration which I have read before you is narrated by one of the greatest sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam के एक ज़रूर खबर सहाबी और इस उम्मत के बहुत बड़े मुहसिन हज़रत अबू हुरैरा रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु. Hazrat Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu was a great scholar of hadith. He was also a judge. ये सहाबी जो थे उनके नाम तो मशहूर है अबू हुरैरा से, लेकिन ज़माना जाहिलियत में उनका नाम जो था वो अब्दुश शम्स था. So his name was अब्दुश शम्स, सूरज का बंदा, the servant of the sun. फिर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने जब दावत देना शुरू फरमाया तो हज़रत अबू हुरैरा रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु के कबीले में से एक शख्स तुफ़ैल इब्न अम्र अद-दौसी, ये शख्स जो है he traveled from Daus to Medina Munawwara, to Makkah Mukarrama, and people had told him that there's this individual who's calling people towards Islam. So he went to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to give nasiha to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that why are you causing friction for, what's this message? So that's why he came to Makkah Mukarrama. तो जब वो आए तो नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को उन्होंने ये कहा कि मुझे आपको कुछ नसीहत देनी है. आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम said, okay, what nasihat would you like to give? You give whatever nasihat you want to give. So Tufail ibn Amr ad-Dawsi, he gave nasiha to who? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. तो फिर नसीहत खत्म हुई तो आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि can I give you some nasihat now? Right? अब मैं तुम्हें कोई नसीहत दूँ? तो he said, by all means. So then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited a few verses of the Quran, only a few verses of the Quran, and Tufail ibn Amr ad-Dawsi, he accepted Islam. After he accepted Islam, he went back to Daus. Or Sahaba had this burning desire in their heart. It wasn't just me, myself and I. When they accepted Islam, they also went and spoke to others about Islam. So Tufail ibn Amr, he went and he did tabligh and gasht in Daus. And over there he spoke to Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu, who at that time was a very young man, in his teens. And he called him towards Islam, and Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu accepted Islam. But he couldn't come to Medina, he couldn't come to Makkah. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, after migrating to Medina Munawwara, when Khaybar, the battle of Khaybar took place, which is in the 7th year of Hijri, that's when Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu migrated to, or came to Medina Munawwara. So 7 years after Hijri, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu जो है मदीना मुनव्वरा तशरीफ़ लाए, और वहाँ जो ही तशरीफ़ लाए तो उसी दिन ही से आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के सोहबत में रहे बिल्कुल आखिरी दिन तक. So he spent approximately 3 to 4 years in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Only 3-4 years. But if you were to look at every Sahabi, all the Sahaba, from all the Sahaba, there were only 2 Sahabi who narrated the most ahadith from Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and one of them was Abu Hurayrah radiyallahu anhu. उलमा फरमाते हैं कि तकरीबन 5 से 6 हज़ार अहादीस हज़रत अबू हुरैरा रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु जो है वो रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से रिवायत फरमाते हैं। और अजीब बात ये थी कि वो लिख नहीं सकते थे, पढ़ भी नहीं सकते थे। His counterpart, his colleague Hazrat Abdul Rahman ibn al-As radiallahu anhu, he used to write hadith. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu never used to write the hadith, he used to memorize the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So Abu sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because he made a lot of khidmah, he chose poverty over wealth for the sake of the deen. दीन के खातिर इन्होंने गुर्बत को इंतखाब फरमाया। बाज़ी लोग इस तरह है जो गरीब ही है, यानी वो माल नहीं कमा सकते हैं, और बाज़ी लोग इस तरह है कि माल तो कमा सकते हैं, उसके बावजूद वो गुर्बत को इख्तियार करते हैं अल्लाह की खातिर और दीन की खातिर। तो उनसे अल्लाह ताला बहुत काम लेते हैं। इमाम बुखारी को हम ले लें, लेट्स लुक एट इमाम बुखारी फॉर एग्जांपल। He chose poverty over wealth. He could have also done business, but he chose poverty over wealth. माल बनाने में कोई हरज नहीं है. The point is, those individuals who sacrifice wealth and luxury for the sake of the deen, they are the ones who will make an impact in deen. तो अबू हुरैरा रदियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु जो है, इन्होंने यानी बहुत कुर्बानी दी दीन के खातिर, बहुत कुर्बानी। एक मरतबा नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम दुआ फरमा रहे थे, तो सहाबा दुआ फरमा रहे थे। The Sahaba were making dua, so Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came close and he said Ameen. So then another Sahabi made dua, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said Ameen. तो अबू हुरैरा रदियल्लाहु अन्हु ने देखा कि नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम is saying आमीन, so then he said, ए अल्लाह मुझे हिफ्ज, यानी give me the power of memorization. He could have asked for anything else, but he asked for a strong memory. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said आमीन, and he says from that day I couldn't forget anything. And he also saw the power of the dua. So his mother wasn't a believer, she wasn't a Muslimah. So when he migrated to Medina, he migrated with his mother, and his mother used to always say bad things and nasty things about Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he would come to his mother and tell his mother that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam ने ये सिखाया है, ये सिखाया है। तो माँ जो है उल्टा वो गाली देती थी। तो एक मर्तबा नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम saw Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu really sad that he's sitting there. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked him that what's the problem? So he said that I have accepted Islam, but my mother hasn't accepted Islam. And whenever I tell her things about yourself, then she says nasty things. So please make dua to Allah for my mother that she accepts Islam. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made dua that, oh Allah, bless Abu Hurairah's mother with iman. So Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he says, as soon as Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made this dua, I went home and I could hear that someone is bathing, and then my mother came out and she said, take me to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I want to accept Islam. This is the power of the dua of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So my dear friends, ये Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu जो है वो रिवायत फरमाते हैं, he narrates that once they were sitting in the company of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, من يأخذ عني هؤلاء الكلمات. I want to share a few pieces of advice. Who is willing to take those from me? And فَيَعْمَلُ بِهِنَّ. Who is willing to take them from me and then act upon them? And if they don't act upon them themselves, then they need to teach someone who will act upon them. فَيُعَلِّمُهُنَّ مَنْ يَعْمَلُ بِهِنَّ. So if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sitting in the majlis, he's saying, I want to give some advice, But who from you will take those advice and act upon them? And if you don't act upon them, then you will share it with someone else who will act upon them. The fallen Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu, he says, "Qultu ana ya Rasulullah, I will take those advice from you. कि मैं आपसे वो कलिमात ले लूँगा." तो Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took the hand of Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu in his hand, and then Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu फरमाते हैं कि आप sallallahu alaihi wasallam ने 5 नसीहत जो है 5 नसीहत आप sallallahu alaihi wasallam ने मुझे दी. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave me, shared 5 pieces of advice. So what are those advice? I want to share them today. Let me just, before I share them, let me take you into the mind of an imam. ये इमाम जो होते हैं, शायद अब मेरे साथियों को भी पूछ लो तो वो भी कहेंगे कि हाँ. तो जब जुमा हम पढ़ाते हैं, you know, when we do Jummah doesn't just happen overnight, by the way. वो जो stress होता है ना, as soon as you finish one Jummah, then the stress starts, that what am I going to talk about in the next Jummah. And sometimes what happens is you think about one topic and then midway you say, no, that's not going to happen, right? And then sometimes you start writing, and you're writing for about, you're doing some reading for about 2-3 hours, and then after that your heart just, ye mazmoon nahi karunga. And then sometimes there's something very important that you need to talk about, but then to research that it'll take you weeks. So then you think, oh, let me get some time and I'll do it. So that same thing happens to myself as well, by the way. I'm just like, so last night I saw a dream, and in that, Mowlana Muzammil Sahib there. So in the dream I'm telling him, yeah, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? So he said, I don't know. So, and then all of a sudden in the dream I'm saying to him, wo hadith jo hai na, the ittaqil maharim takun a'bad an-nas warda bima qasama Allahu lak takun aghna an-nas wa ahsin ila jarika takun mu'mina wa ahibba lin-nasi ma tuhibbu li nafsik takun muslima. And wala tukthir al-dhihk fa inna kathrat al-dhihki tumitu al-qalb. So this hadith I'll do it, right? So then I thought, okay, then chalo, main koi buzurg nahi ho, by the way. I don't have good dreams. The only dreams I have is I'm eating, and then when I wake up I'm full as well. That's how I put the weight on, not by eating, by the way. It's in the dreams. So anyway, this hadith was narrated by Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu. Beautiful hadith, and Allah allows us to act upon this hadith as well. And then Allah allows us to pass this hadith on to others. Do you know, like, हमारे सामने जब hadith बयान किया जाता है, तो हम इसको मामूली समझते हैं. When a hadith is narrated before us, we take it to be like, yeah, hadith ही है ना. Sahaba kiram, not the Sahaba, the people after the Sahaba, they traveled for miles and miles just for one hadith. So to them, one hadith was more precious than gold. Imam Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi, he travels from Baghdad all the way to Basra for one hadith. One hadith. And then when he goes there, because he was very strict in who he took hadith from. So when he got there, he saw the muhaddis, unke paas ek hadith thi jo inke paas nahi thi. He had one hadith which he didn't have. So when he got there, this person, he's got a donkey in front of him, he's trying to get it in, it's not coming. So then he went inside and he got something in a basket, and he's doing this. It's like, when you've got a cat and you want to get it close to you, the only thing you need to do is get the food out, and it'll come, it'll run to you. So Imam Bukhari is doing this, so this person, this muhaddis, is doing this, and then the donkey started coming in, and it came in, and then he put it, and then he locked the gate. So Imam Bukhari, he came all the way from Baghdad to Basra. So can you imagine traveling from here to London, not in a cruise control car, traveling in difficult condition, going all the way there to learn one hadith, and then he got there and he said, okay, before I learn the hadith from you, I just want to ask you, ye jo uske andar khana, was there food there? Are you going to feed that donkey or not? So he said, no. He said, no, I just tried to get it in there, so there's no food in here. So he said, oh, if you're fooling this donkey, then I don't have any trust in you. And then he returned. He didn't learn that hadith from him. Hatta ke when they used to see anyone standing up and eating, they wouldn't take hadith from them. If someone was walking around without a hat, they wouldn't take hadith from them. चूँकि ये अल्लाह के सामने खड़ा होना है, तो इसको डांपो, cover your head. असल में जो है ना, the reason we don't cover it is because we don't know why we cover it. We don't know why. तो एक Sikh वो भी, they sometimes know better than us. They also cover their head. So this Sikh was asked that, why do you wear this for? So he said, because we feel ashamed to stand in front of our Lord with our hair uncovered. और हकीकत में ये है कि तवाज़ु की वजह से वो टोपी पहना जाता था. हाँ, कोई टोपी न पहने तो कोई गुनाह भी नहीं है, लेकिन आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की अक्सर मामूल ये था कि आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम टोपी पहनते थे. सो उस सुन्नत के ऊपर अमल करते हुए हमें भी पहनना चाहिए. लेकिन if someone is not wearing it one day, you don't just like throw them out of the masjid or look at them as though now they go in Jahannam and you're going Jannat. हमारा तो यही मामला है ना. We love to judge people कि you know this person is not wearing a hat, then I'm better than him now. तो इस तरह नहीं है. लेकिन for those individuals टोपी भी सुन्नत है हज़रत नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की. तो anyway, so Hazrat Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu says that I said to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'll learn the hadith, the 5 pieces of advice, I'll take it from you. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took my hand and he placed my hand in his hand. So this is also a way of giving advice, by the way. बाज़ मतलब अपने बच्चों को कोई नसीहत दो तो हाथ में हाथ लो इस तरह. So when you touch, then what you will say will also enter their hearts. So Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu says, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam took my hand in his hand, and the first piece of advice he gave was ittaqil maharim takun a'badan nas. Ittaqil maharim. Allah Ta'ala हमें माफ फरमाए. आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, गुनाहों से, हराम काम से अपने आप को बचाओ. Save yourself from haram. Takun a'badan nas. If you do this, you will be the most pious of people. You will be the greatest ibadat guzar. You will be the most pious of people. This is a different angle that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is showing us. हमारे यहाँ तो ये है कि सबसे ज़्यादा नेक, the most pious is that individual who looks pious and alhamdulillah who comes to perform the salah, has a beard, dresses in a sunnah manner. This is our perception of piety, which is part of piety. लेकिन आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने क्या फरमाया कि इत्तक़िल महारिम, हराम से भी बचो, हराम से अपने आप को बचाओ. Save yourself from haram, and if you do that, देखो नेकी करना आसान, हराम से बचना मुश्किल. To perform 2 rakat salah is easy, but to save yourself from haram, my tongue is itching, I want to do ghibat about someone, right? And to stop yourself there, for some individuals it's difficult. To bite your tongue before you lie is difficult. To bite your tongue before you swear is difficult. To control your heart or to control our eyes when haram comes in front is difficult. आंसू तो बहाना आसान है, आंखों को बंद करना हराम से मुश्किल है. तो आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम is turning our attention towards that as well. नमाज तो पढ़ लिया, लेकिन नमाज पढ़ने के बाद जो गाली दे रहे हो, झूठ बोल रहे हो, गीबत कर रहे हो और मूवीज देख रहे हो, तो उसका क्या है? We need to sort that out, isn't it? इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि शैतान अभी आके हमें बयान न दे कि मौलाना साहब ने तो ये कहा है कि नमाज पढ़ रहे हो और नमाज के बाद ये भी गुनाह कर रहे हो, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि नमाज ही ना पढ़ो. बाज़ी लोग जो है ना IQ लेवल बहुत कम होता है ना, तो शैतान उनको अटैक कर लेता है. Because they come up with this conclusion that, you know, oh, if I'm not doing this and I'm doing this, then why do this? So that's like saying, you know what, I fell on dirt and I got my hands dirty, so let's just chop my hands off. Would you do that? Would anyone do that? कोई ये करेगा कि oh, I got dirt on my jubba, I just need to throw my jubba away now? Or do you just put it in the wash? So when an individual commits sins, he's doing good and he's also committing sins, what that individual needs to do is do tawbah and work really hard to go away from that sin. No, let go of the good that we're doing. Kisi ne kaha ki I don't fast. Why don't you fast? Because I don't pray my namazes anyway. So I don't fast. Wow, very clever, right? So mere azizo, Allah me gunaho se bachaye. We need to wake up in the morning with conviction and make this dua to Allah that, oh Allah, today I'm going to try my best to spend my entire day without any haram. And an individual, seriously, everyone is different. We're struggling with different harams. Koi shahwat ke haram mein mubtala hai. Some people are struggling with their temptations. So then some are struggling with lying. Some are struggling with different harams. So everyone knows what we are struggling with. What we need to do is just work on that. Allah Ta'ala says, subah ko madad mange. Ask Allah that I'm struggling with this. I need to change this. So today I will try my utmost best to not go close to that haram or anything that will lead me to that haram. Allah Ta'ala hamari hifazat farmaye. So ittaqil maharim. Aap sallallahu alaihi wasallam ne Abu Hurayrah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu ko nasihat farmate hue farmaya ki haram se bacho. You save yourself from haram, you will be the pious of people. And then he said, warda bima qasama Allahu lak takun aghna nas. Be pleased with what Allah has decreed and distributed for you. Allah ne jo tumhe di hai na, be pleased with that. Takun aghna nas, you will be the wealthiest of people. Here wealth isn't referring to wealth, money. Because we know, and even the wealthy know, that if you were given a choice between contentment, happiness and wealth, and you were told that do you want wealth and no contentment, no happiness, or do you want contentment, happiness, no wealth, which one would you take? An individual will take qana'ah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, look at his house. Look at his house. One bedroom, that same bedroom is a living room. That same living room is a dining room. But he has so much qana'ah, happiness in his heart that he is able to spread the deen of Allah. Aaj Allah Ta'ala ne hame bahut kuch diya hai, fir bhi hum khush nahi hai. Allah has given me so much, despite that I'm not happy. I'm looking at you. Oh, iski gari dekho to. Iski gari dekho. Oh, look at him, look at his family, look at how big his house is. Oh, look how happy he is. Look at his job. So when we look at others, then we will never be happy. हमें तो नसीहत ये दिया गया है कि don't look at those who are above you. Look at those who are less, who are disadvantaged. Then you will truly be able to benefit and praise the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and appreciate Allah's blessings. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave this nasiha to Abu Hurayrah radiyallahu anhu, that whatever Allah has given you, be pleased with that. Be content with that. ये जो आजकल लोग इंस्टाग्राम में देखते रहते हैं, so इससे क्या होता है कि oh look at that, oh look at that, oh what a wonderful relationship, oh they've gone on this holiday, oh look at his car, and then everyone we don't say it, but I want that as well. And if I don't get that, until I don't get that, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. So what Rasulullah said, we need to be pleased with Allah, what Allah has given to us. Because sometimes Allah gives this person something, but deprives the same person of something that He hasn't given you. And this is not sometimes, this is all the time. Allah Ta'ala ka masla is tarah hai, ye Allah ki sunnat hai, कि Allah Ta'ala ने अगर किसी को माल दिया है तो उसको कुछ और तो नहीं देंगे, लेकिन जिसको माल नहीं दिया है उसको और कुछ इस तरह देंगे कि ये रश्क करेगा कि काश कि मुझे भी वो हो. So that's why we don't need to look at anyone else. तो warda bima qasama Allahu lak takun aghna an-nas wa ahsin ila jarik takun mu'mina wa ahibba lin-nas ma tuhibbu li nafsik takun muslima wa la tukthir adh-dhihk fa inna kathrata adh-dhihki tumitu al-qalb. I've only explained 2, I have 3 left. Let me just point on the last point. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that do not excessively laughing, बहुत ज़्यादा हंसना, ये बाज़ी लोग समझते हैं कि it's just referring to laughing, it's referring to too much entertainment, leisure, too much fun. Our deen Islam encourages us to be happy, but happiness doesn't come only through entertainment. बहुत ज़्यादा entertainment जो है वो बंदे को ग़फ़लत की तरफ ले जाता है. When a person entertains himself too much, everything has to be fun, football and everything, then what that creates is it takes a person's heart away from the maqsad, from the purpose. This is what Rasulullah ﷺ means, that it kills the heart. فَإِنَّ كَثْرَةَ الذِّحْكِ تُمِيتُ الْقَلْبِ. That laughing too much or engrossing yourself in entertainment and leisure will kill your heart, kill the spiritual heart. An individual won't be able to see why Allah has created him. So it will kill that ta'alluq with Allah. Kill the ta'alluq. So we Muslims are those who know and have conviction that I have only come here for a few days. And my purpose here is not, I'm not going to be here for long. Mujhe to qabr mein jana hai. I'm going to the grave. And why I've come is to prepare for that grave. What entertainment does is it takes us away from that. Don't get it wrong. There's one is fun and one is entertainment. These are two different things. तो अल्लाह ताला हमारी हिफाजत फरमाए. अल्लाह ताला हमें इस हदीस के ऊपर अमल करने की तौफीक अता फरमाए.